gave him three choices. And all the three choices that God gave him, he said, no, I don't want any of this. Please, Lord, you alone has mercies. If I fall into your mercies, I believe it will be lenient for me. So he allowed God's mercies to take charge of his situation. Many a times we might find ourselves in difficulties like that, where it's better that we fall into the mercies of God, because he alone knows how to judge rightly. So with the wisdom David had to fall into God's hands or God's mercies, rather than to make choices for himself. In the end, it was better for him. And it's pathetic that many people had to die for David's own sin. But who are you to judge God, whether he's wrong or right? No human being is. So it's best that David says, Lord, you alone have mercies. Let your mercies judge me. So take up the judgment yourself. So whenever we fall into circumstances of this kind of nature, where we realize that we are sorry for something we did, it's better to ask God that let his mercies judge you instead of anything else. Fall into God's mercies, and that will make your life better than you ever thought. So remember, God's mercies are always there for you. You just have to know how to seek it, or how to claim it, or how to fall into it, so that God shall have his way with you in his mercy line. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Again, Isaiah 14:1.
For the Lord will have compassion on Jacob, the captives in Babylon, and will again choose Israel, and will settle them in their own land. Foreigners, Gentiles, will join themselves as proselytes, and will attach themselves to the house of Jacob, meaning Israel.
Wow. So God is saying that there's a time coming, that the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, because they have sinned so much against the Lord. And God had remembered that if he doesn't give them mercy, he will just have to consume them. Wow. But this is to let all of us to understand that it is so important for us to remember that God has mercies. He's merciful. And that's why he wants us also to become merciful. Now, he just wants Israel to understand that he will show them mercy, because he has punished them quite a bit. Because all that they bring to him is disobedience and sin of varieties, always angering God. But because of his mercies, we are not consumed. We still live it. Just like he showed mercies to the Israelites. Wow. So notice how he did it. He said there's no such power, or reign in Israel over their captors or oppressors as has been seen to that day. Just because they sin against God so many times, so God allowed their oppressors to really oppress them. But it came to a time they cried unto the Lord, and the Lord said, okay, This time I'll let my mercies reach you. So, mercy enables God to withhold punishment that we deserve. See? And this is why it is so important. Grace gives us the good that we do not deserve, but mercy withholds the punishment that we deserve. Why? Because mercy has brothers and sisters and cousins, like we said earlier. Compassion, forgiveness, and leniency. David enjoyed lenient with him. But if you live in this world right now where sin is rampant and every day the mercies of God is all we can fall into. Because if you don't remind yourself that what you're doing, the kind of sin you are enduring or you are taking part in, there will be consequences. But it's only God's mercies that can withhold the punishment that we deserve. Yeah, so God's mercy is always linked to his covenant with Israel, promising them protection, provision, and forgiveness. And through mercy, he gives us forgiveness, and he endures us also because of mercies. God, where he should kill us, he allows us to live because of mercies. And that's why he said in Micah, is it 6:5 or something? That, oh, mortal man, what is good? And what does the Lord require of you? Rather to act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. Walking humbly with your God is the most important for us in our day. So God, being rich in mercy, he is here to show us mercy. And because he's here to show us mercy, what are we to do? Continue in sin? Continue to behave the way we want? Continue to say we are his children and take him for granted? So let's remember these few things that we have heard today, knowing where mercy came from, that it is God's own character. It's embedded in God's own character. And God, reveals himself in mercy in many ways. So let's know that if you want mercy, God has it. Humble yourself, come to him, walk with him, so that his mercies shall always abound to you. So I will end here today with this short message, hoping you remember that God's mercy is what you need. Stay blessed, and we'll see you in a few days.